The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration's revisions to the hours of service rule contain a significant change to the split sleeper berth rule. The current rule allows drivers to split the daily required 10-hour off-duty break into 8 and 2-hour periods, as long as the 8-hour period is spent fully on the sleeper berth log line. The new rule changes that. It allows for 7 and 3-hour periods to satisfy the requirements for daily off-duty rest, with an additional change. The shorter of the two periods will not count against the 14-hour daily on-duty window. In other words, as long as the shorter period of the split is at least 2 hours, you can use it to, quote-unquote, stop the clock for a midday nap or other off-duty break. Come September 29, when the new rule is set to go into effect, here's how it will work. Take a break greater than 2 hours in the middle of your day and you entered the split sleeper daily cycle. When starting a split sleeper cycle with a break, recalculation of the 11 and 14-hour daily limits after each break must include any drive and on-duty time used before the split break. That's the case both under the current rules and the rules going into effect in September. In this example showing 2 consecutive days, the driver moves for 5 hours in the direction of a load that picks up the next day. He then shuts down for 8 hours in the sleeper berth. When he comes back on duty at 6 the next morning, he recalculates his available daily hours based on how much he's driven since the end of his prior off-duty period the previous day. The long berth period under both current and new rules, since it's logged in the sleeper, does not count against the 14-hour clock. With 9 on-duty hours and 6 drive hours available, he comes back on duty, then rolls for 2 hours to a shipper facility. He wastes 30 minutes on duty checking in and waiting before being given a new appointment time 2 hours hence. The owner-operator releases himself from duty, taking 2 hours to complement his prior 8-hour off-duty period. When he comes back on duty to hook to the load and be off, he recalculates available hours, going back to the end of the prior off-duty period at 6 a.m. This begins to illustrate the benefits of the new rule when it comes to available on-duty hours. While available drive hours at this point in the day are exactly the same both in current rules and those coming into effect in September, when it comes to the 14-hour clock, things are different. Under the current rules, the driver cannot exclude the 2-hour off-duty period from calculation of the on-duty time available within the 14-hour window. Come September 29, however, those 2 hours will not count against the duty window. Rather than having 9 hours of potential drive time and just 9:15 of on-duty time, under the new rule, this owner-operator has 11:15 of potential duty time. Overtime and potential delays when operating within the split cycle, that benefit of the new rule can add up significantly. There's a simple way to think about using the new split rules to your advantage. To reset all available daily on-duty and drive hours, and not have to deal with the ongoing recalculations required in a split cycle, all you ever need to do is take a 10-hour off-duty break. That reality opens up new options to use daily breaks of at least 2 hours to effectively be a pause button for the 14-hour clock. That's what many owner-operators have asked for within the hours regulations over the years. In this example, for instance, the driver comes off 12 hours off duty to drive at 6 a.m. with his full complement of 14 available on duty and 11 drive hours. He's held up in a queue at a shipper from 9 to 1 p.m., then drives for another hour. Then, he takes a long lunch from 2 to 4 p.m. with friends along his route, and an hour's nap from 4 to 5 before coming back on duty. Under the terms of the new rule, and the old one for that matter, that off-duty period of 3 hours puts him in the split sleeper cycle, effectively. When he comes back on duty at 5 to drive, under current rules, his available 14 has been reduced to just 3 hours. But under the terms of the new rule, come September 29, given the 3-hour off-duty break begins a split sleeper cycle, the break doesn't count against the 14-hour window. It stops the clock, as plenty of drivers would say. This driver's got plenty of available drive hours, too, to fill the duty window in which he can use them. When he exhausts his on-duty time at 11 p.m., he need only take a 7-hour sleeper period to continue the split and regain 6 hours, or he can sleep another 3 hours and take a full 10-hour break. That way he can start the day anew at 9 a.m. with a full complement of daily, drive, and on-duty hours. Note the bolded red line in the latter part of the previous day's drive period. That's a current logging app telling us that those 3 hours of driving aren't possible in the rules as written today. Come September 29, that's changing.